One of the reasons why I was hesitant to get an e-reader device was because of how I was so used to navigating within a physical book and being able to have a visual of where I am in the book, of perhaps different post-its that I'd use to reference information from in the book that I've already read, different things like that. And I was hesitant to get an e-reader because, well, this is one of the reasons. There are other reasons why, but the thing I'm focusing here in this video is how to navigate within an e-ink device, specifically the Kobo Clara black and white. So now that I've become a little more familiar, I want to be able to give you an idea on what it's like to navigate in this device in case you are considering getting this e-ink device, or if you already have it and you might not be familiar with this. I'll be using the Kobo Clara user guide, which I found online, and I'll link it in the description, and it's on page 35. It's a PDF manual. So to start off, I'll be using the book that I'm currently working on, which is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy, and I'm 28% into the book. So please be aware if you are someone that is very particular about spoilers, which I am too, and because I'm that much into the book, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Alright, so here I am inside my book, and if you want to bring up the menu, you tap on the middle of the screen, and I'm going to see if I can make this so that you can see it better. Alright, so I zoomed it out a bit. I've zoomed it out a bit, and you might see my stand in the video, but hopefully we'll just focus on this and it doesn't look too bad on the display. Alright, so yeah, to bring in the menu, you tap on the middle of the screen, and here you'll have all these different options and things you can do. So one thing I will do is, before I go anywhere else, is put a bookmark, which looks like that, like a dog ear. It's very, very cute. And I keep that there so that in case I'm not able to find, just so I don't lose my place. Alright, so tap the middle of the screen, and if you want to jump from different chapters to chapters, you can use these. So you want to go to the next chapter, you click here. You want to go to the previous chapter, you click here. And the cool thing is that once I do it, you'll see there'll be a preview of that. So you're not leaving your page yet, you're going to preview that. So let's say we want to go back. So that was the previous chapter. I think right now I'm in chapter 33. Let me make sure. Let's see make sure how that works. So yeah, as you can see, I'm on chapter 33, so it's going to go to chapter 32. So yeah, it brings up a window, and you haven't left your page yet. So let's say you just want to preview that or something within that chapter. You can do that, and like, let's say you want to just go through your whatever annotations or highlights you made within that chapter. You can use these different arrows to go back and forth. And so let's say, okay, I saw what I wanted to see. Let me go back to my page that I'm at. So you can do that, or if you want to stay there, so let's say you're there, and again, I'm still nervous to navigate on my e-ink device because I'm like, no, I don't want to lose my page. I was so used to having a book where you can like just place your hand on where you're at and then go freely navigate throughout the rest of the book. But that's why we have this right here. It's there, so maybe I can explain later as to how I go back to that. But anyway, so let's say we're here and I'm like, no, you know what? I actually want to go to this page. So you can click on it like this. And most of the time you can tap on the middle of the screen and it says back to page so and so. So you'll see that it says back to this page. So honestly, like I said, sometimes this hasn't been consistent for me, so I don't trust this too often. And right now I'm not even sure what page that is, but I know it's like further into the book where I probably was. But let's go ahead and click on it. Again, it shows you a little window, and yes, I think that's where I was. I wish it did show like that's like you have a bookmark there, just so I know for sure. But yeah, so you can go back to the page you were at. It does give you that option. And then again, let's say you want to go back, so it gives you these kind of options to go back and forth and flip back and forth and find information that you might need. All right, so the next thing here says skimming through a book. So it says to quickly browse through your book while reading, tap the center of the page to bring up the reading menu. Oh yes, so this is one of the features that I like too. So this is so you can skim through pages, and you click on this circle and it brings up the window again. Now, I don't know why it went back. That's so strange. I thought it would just like, okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So you see, you'll have like this same page brought up in this window, but you're gonna like be able to go like this and just go through, navigate through the book. I think if you keep this pressed, it will just go really quickly. So that's pretty cool too. When you stop, and that way you don't have to leave your page. And so if you find the book, the page that you want, and let's say you're able to see the information there, so let's say you find it, you don't really have to leave your spot. You can kind of just look at it there and then go back to the page that you were at, or you can just go there. But yeah, you just click behind that window and you're back at your own page. To view the table of contents, again, tap the middle of the screen and you see this right here. That's going to show you the table of contents. So let's go there. And yeah, you can just see that there. You'll also see that you can go to your annotations, but you don't really have to go through that in order to see your annotations, but they give you that option. So yeah, you can see all the chapters that you've read so far. Here is the chapter I'm on, which is in bold letters. So you'll be able to see how many pages or chapters, that you have left. So yeah. Well, I don't know if that was a spoiler, but yeah, I don't know what that was about. It's fine. Okay, so then again, you can go here for your annotations, but there is another icon that will take you there. You don't need to go through here. So the next thing is changing font size, line spacing, and margins. You have a lot of options with that. So this is for font size. I might not go into this too much because I really want to showcase what it's like to navigate within this book. So I might just skip that for now. Yeah, I might just leave that alone. So to find your bookmarks, you can go here to your annotations. And this sometimes takes a little more time for me. Here are all my annotations. And it starts from the beginning. If you want, you can just click here and it'll take you to your last highlights, notes, or bookmarks that you have made. And so here's my bookmark, and yeah, I can easily find that there. We also have a filter feature, so if you want to just see your bookmarks, you can do that. And again, I click here just to go to the last bookmark I made. So yeah, I normally do this if I find that I'm gonna go and start looking throughout the whole book, information I need to find, and I don't want to lose my spot, so I know that the latest bookmark I made is where I need to go. You can also sort this by different, like recent and location. I'm just gonna leave it at location. That's the most straightforward thing for me. I think for now it would be too confusing to do it by most recent, because for example, I made a key recently to add to my notes as I'm making those notes. So yeah, I recently added this, and so if I would sort this by recent, I think it would put this all the way in the back versus in the front. I wanted to keep this where I made this note, this annotation key. I highlighted the words table of contents. You see, I'm so nervous to like click on something to leave my page, but I made a bookmark, so I should be fine. So here we go. Yeah, I made a highlight here and I added my annotation key, so I might start adding these things before I make my note, just to give myself an idea of what that note is about, basically. So yeah, let's see. So yeah, and now I'm gonna click the middle, go back here, I want to go back to the page I was at, go to bookmarks, go back to my latest bookmark and just click there. So those are the basics, but I also want to show you a few more things that are very useful to me. So one of the things that I find very useful when I'm reading a book is being able to reference, for example, when a character first appears in a book. Sometimes I'm reading, and then the character shows up out of nowhere again, and I kind of forget what the context was when this character first was introduced or who they are. So something I do is I use this search feature, which I really love. And so as you can see, I've searched up different names just to get an idea of what was going on when this character first came in, or has this character been mentioned before. So one thing I do is I remember the chapter I'm in, and so that I don't go beyond the chapter I'm at when the results appear. Make sure it's on current read, because you have different options here. You can search your annotations, dictionary, so on current read. And also you kind of can search like different books you're reading, I guess, but I don't really use that. I don't really switch to other books while I'm trying to search for something within this book. So let's just say I wanted to look up one of the characters, who is Kitty. She's one of the main characters so far that has been appearing a lot. And I want to see so we see here introduction. So I try not to even look at that, because I hear there's like spoilers in that. So I skip until I see here. I don't know if this is chapter 1. Let's see. Yeah, okay, these are different chapters. I don't know if this is chapter 1 right here. It's kind of strange the way this says that, so maybe not. Maybe that's not it. Yeah, this is a little confusing for me, because it doesn't say like first chapter, but maybe she was introduced on chapter 5. So I'm gonna click there, and it'll show me that page, and you have a different like options here. You can go back to all the results like that, and I kind of wish it left you off where you were last at in the results, but it's fine. So let's go back to where we were, and or you can search through your results through this right here. I kind of don't like doing that too much, simply because I'm like, I don't want to get spoiled, but it's not a big deal. This is like earlier on in the book, so it's probably not too much of an issue. So I do use it when I'm like, okay, let's go through the book, how many times they're mentioned, what was the context around the time that they're mentioned. And then we have this going back and X. So X would be that it'll drop me off on this page. This would mean it takes me back to the page I was at. So we were at the table of contents, so it's going to take me back there. I believe okay. We did go back to the bookmarked page, so it took me back here. So I thought that was pretty cool. It's really useful so that I can make connections and strengthen that information in my mind. I had to stop for a moment, so I don't remember what I was saying, but something that came to mind is like, let's say you want to look up a term, like let's say marriage, and so you might see any time that word came up. Let's see if it comes up. So yeah, again, I try to skip this introduction. So here we see a first mention of it in chapter 3, and so you can click on that. I have a lot of annotations here. Let's see. So it'll be highlighted, the word that you looked up, marriage. The Liberal Party said that marriage was an obsolete institution and was in need of reform. Yeah, so very interesting concepts here. Political stuff, I guess. So probably had a lot to say. We're talking about religion and stuff like that. And yeah, so we can use this to see the next time it was mentioned. If he visited a house where there was a marriageable daughter, he ought to explain himself. I don't remember the context of this, but again, I can read it. So even like, let's say I'm here, I can navigate still within this. I don't have to stay on this page. I can go back like that and go to the surrounding pages to get more context. But yeah, it'll stay on this same search number, I guess. And then I can go to the next one. Giving away her daughters in marriage was neither easy nor simple. So yeah, this is a book that deals with the topic of marriage. That's why I decided to look it up. And yeah, so I want to go back to where I was. Let's just say I got what I needed, and I just want to go back. And so it's very easy to navigate when you're reading a book, so you don't feel lost, so you don't feel like you've lost your page, so you can go grab the information you need and keep on reading and make those like connections. And yeah, so hopefully that was useful with how to navigate within a book. You can also, I forgot to mention, and I wanted to mention this, you can also go to your search here, and you can look through your annotations as well. And let's say, for example, you saw how I had a key. I can look up LOL. The only thing is that this will look up all the annotations that you've made throughout any of the books that you have here on the device. I don't know why it does that, but let's see, let's go. So let's say I write LOL, and it's gonna pull up all the times I've written that. So here I have one from yesterday from Ana Karenina, and these are from like other books that I've read. So it'll pull up every time I wrote LOL. So that's another useful thing to help you navigate and pull up your notes and information that you've written or typed in a note. So I'm gonna look at it and see what I found funny. I do find my notes very personal. I like to annotate very freely, like if I'm texting this author in a sense, or so I'm gonna look at it. Okay, this is not bad. It's basically my key, so that's when I made the key yesterday. And here I notice I have like a mistake. So let's see, let's edit the note. Principle, save, okay. So you have more options here. You can see it within the book, remove or edit note. So you have two options here too. You can X or you can go back. So going back just takes me to my results, I think, and then Xing would probably just take me back to the book, I think. So yeah, it just took me back to the book. Let's try that again. So I was looking through all my annotations, and let's see here. Yeah, I don't know what was going on here. Kiki or someone said, ew, that's a weird way to say it. And I said, LOL, it's her DNA, I'm guessing. So I don't know what I meant with that. And it gives you the date you made it as well. So I'm gonna go back and then just go back again. So yeah, that's a general overview of navigating within your book on this device.